Hello again, friends, and welcome back to your full-time show with me, your host, Martin, following today's FA Cup first round tie with Portsmouth, a game that finished after extra time. Finally finished. My days, it was going on and on and on. At one point, I was planning a first ever penalty shootout watch-along, but it didn't happen. Sadly, Town were beaten. We want your say on it. We want you to have your say. Were Town unfortunate to lose? Were they fortunate to even get to extra time? Let us know in the comments. But of course, equally, you can come on the show. I am now going to drop the link into the chat to get yourself on the show. Just use that link and come on today's show. As always, I'm joined by Mr. Matt Phillips, and Mr. Rob Davies has appeared. He is here.
You sent me the link this time. That's what happens if you send me the link.
Right. So, before we go any further, if you're watching on Twitter, retweet it. Facebook, share it. And, of course, YouTube, hit subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Matt, what do you think of that game of today?
Well, we deserved to lose, to be honest, because we didn't play in the first half, did we? Much better performance in the second half. Obviously, got to rocket up the backside. And as Rich said on our little WhatsApp, you know, when you get the break at full time, you go into extra time, the momentum is gone and they sort of relapse back to how they kind of started the game, really. I thought Norwood gave us a little bit of energy, didn't he? Obviously got that second goal. But, yeah, if you don't play for 90 minutes, you're not going to win games, are you?
No. Rob?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we didn't do enough to win the game, did we? We had a spell where we were probably in the second half. We were the better team throughout, I thought. But then first half and both periods of extra time, we were second best. And in the end, we conceded a completely scrappy goal after we gave away a whole succession of fouls all the way to extra time. Really, they hit the post. They had all the chances, didn't we? We looked really, really leggy. And in the end, there was only one team that was going to win it by the end. Really.
Yeah,
I thought their goal was offside, but.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting a lot of this in the comments. I'm sure I've got the VIP room. It keeps lighting up. Cruncher's coming in and then going, then coming again. He's come again. Sid Driver. Hey, first time caller. Sid, brilliant. We'll have him on in a second. Before I get those two guys on, obviously there's a lot of comments in the comment section about the lino or the rest or the officials after a week what has been a week of officials. Perhaps you know. I know Matt will say different, but not doing I don't know.
Well, what I will say is that Tuesday night we saw the officials, whether or not you agree with their decisions, on top of the big decisions. You know, he was there. The referee was there for the Giselle challenge, and he was there for the handball. Today, that referee wasn't helped by his the linos. They weren't there for the big decisions. It was offside. You could argue it was a penalty. You could argue the Pompey lad should have got sent off. But the officials, as a team, as a unit, weren't on top of those big decisions.
Rob, what do you think about the officials today?
Likewise, all three of them, the decisions went against us, which is incredibly hard to take after Tuesday, to be honest. I can't repeat what I would have been shouting had I been behind the goal. But ultimately, I mean, that tackle was probably, I would say, significantly more reckless and wild than Giselle's.
Yeah, it was.
The penalty was, I mean, he pulled his shirt, which there was a clear gap between his shirt and him. There was, an arm's length gap of which the shirt was pulled. And then the other one where it was obviously a goal-mouth scramble, but the lino's there. There's no one in his way. Keeper's out of play.
Standard decision. You're right, Rob. Yeah.
3 decisions went against us, and there you go. We're out again. One win in 18 FA Cup ties. Matt Holland said, I think, during the game.
It's our worst FA Cup showing now for 60 years, I think.
Let's bring Cruncher in because he's not sure of a thing to say about officials. Obviously, tomorrow's podcast is live from 1:30 on all the platforms you're currently watching on. So don't go too much. Don't lift the spoilers. But what did you think of the officials today, Crunch?
Matt Phillips is Harrods teabag. Stays in the cup longer than Town. I was saving that one.
Yeah, it needs work.
Look, we can blame the officials, boys, all we want, you know. But when you're 2-0 down at home after 13 minutes,
Oh,
hang on.
Sorry.
Yeah. If you start like that, you know, look, we played better second half. Fair enough. Extra time. Where were we?
Yes.
Where did we go? Extra time. We didn't play, did we?
No. No, like we said earlier, wasn't it? Yeah, the momentum had gone at the break. Always does. That's pretty going to be my goat tomorrow. Extra time. Why is that still a thing?
Do you
Go
feel
straight to the pens?
they got to extra time and they just felt, you know what, let's take this to a penalty shootout and let's try our luck in the pens, not give anything too costly away?
I wouldn't say that was probably the mindset. I just think it's probably quite difficult to pick yourself up after the flat first half, a good second half, the break, probably just feeling a little bit leggy. They got back from Sunderland late, but that's not really an excuse.
It's another defeat against a decent team. That is 4 defeats in 6 games now.
What did we say on the Sunday show? TikTok, Mr. Lambert? Christmas?
Oh, behave.
They are behaving, mate. They are behaving. It's TikTok. At the end of the day, we're there to get promoted. We go out of the cup in the first round, the third round, wherever we come in, we go out. So
Paul Lambert's now been at the helm of our first time relegation for 60 odd years and our worst FA Cup result in 60 years.
Back to back.
I'm going to see that.
It's the second team against Portsmouth's A team, and we've pushed them all the way. We've come back. We've shown character.
Rewind. Why did we have to change 9 players when we've not? Well, we're going to be playing Charlton next Saturday now because they got knocked out. So I don't see. If you look at Portsmouth last season, they got to the EFL final. I think 5th round of the FA Cup, 3rd round of the League Cup. They take these cups seriously. We just take them as a joke. You know, we don't take them seriously. We've won trophies before. We've won this cup before. But now it's just like Lambert. It's just another game. Portsmouth have got exactly the same fixtures coming up as we have. They take it serious. It's called Martin having momentum, you know, and winning games. But we just think, oh no, it's the FA Cup, you know. And that first 40 minutes, I'd say, you know, until Nolan scored, we looked like we couldn't give a toss. You know, it was shit. And there is no getting away from it. We played better second half. We did play a lot better second half. It actually helps when you have a striker on the pitch who can run, because I'll tell you again, Hawkins, one of the worst forwards in 36 years that I've seen in a blue shirt. He is shit. He is awful. And I don't think what anybody said. Lambert said he's doing an incredible job. He isn't.
You have to say that. I mean, all the other bad forwards, I can think of plenty. Connor Salmon is one that always sticks in my mind, but let's go with it. They've all played at the championship level, haven't they? All of them played at championship level, even Biner, all of them, and they played at championship level. And now this guy, I mean,
Biner,
he is that sort of level of striker, but a division below. So I mean, you have to say by default, he's probably the worst, isn't he?
10 games, 1 goal. You might as well.
No, that is no investment in the summer right there on the chalkboard.
Jordan will be giving you that 20 quid because there is no way he's getting 9 goals.
I know. I need some charity nominations, really, because my charity of choice is going to be, you know.
You can see why Pompey. You can see why Pompey got rid of him. He wouldn't get in that team. Not good enough for that team.
Yeah, I mean, look, Pompey have got ambition in this league. They got, you know, Marquis, who was from a direct rival at the time.
Yeah,
you know, at the time they had Brett Pittman, who's obviously a very good striker, couldn't even get in the team. Harrison would probably get in our team, I'd say comfortably.
I'd rather have Harrison.
Exactly. Puts himself about.
We still pound that deal off, do you reckon?
That's ambition to get out of the league, whereas we're just happy to stay where we are.
Absolutely. Let's bring Sid Driver in. First time caller. Look at Sid. Here he is. Sid, you ain't got to keep it PG, mate. Cruncher's already blown it. I'll drop Cruncher out. I love you, Crunch, but I want you tomorrow on tip-top form. Look after yourself. Sid, what did you make of today's game, my man?
Well, first half, they didn't even show up. They didn't even come out of the changing rooms. As soon as Norwood come on, you could see that the game had changed. But as regards to extra time, as soon as Judge come on, the game just went for me. We had no chance.
Yeah. What would you put it down to, Sid? Why did they start so flatly? I made that point at half time. Why was it so flat? I don't understand it.
Well, I missed the start of the game, but they
probably just as well.
Yeah, exactly. But they just don't ever seem up for it in the cup.
No,
never won it.
Is it because of the changes? Is it hard to get a team chemistry built up in one game only? We might see a different display, obviously, with the same 11 against Crawley, but that's Crawley in all due respect to Crawley. Is it difficult for a team to suddenly be thrown together in competitive action? Because you've not seen that team before, and I don't say, unless injuries hit, you won't see a midfield of McGavin, Hughes and Nolan, or a front three of Bennett, Sears and Hawkins a lot this year in the league.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, I said on my Twitter that I feel that any one of them players should be able to step into our first team at a moment's notice because they've all been in and around the first team and should be able to play at this level.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not a reserve team, is it, Sid? Their first team.
Not a reserve team.
It's not like we've got Price Beck in goal. You've got the lad Tommy Smith at left back. It's like you've got I don't know, Indaba in the team or something.
Simpson up top and
exactly.
They're all players that are featured in our first team.
Exactly. They should know each other's game. They should know each other's game.
Yeah.
It's not. We can't make excuses for him. It wasn't good enough.
Who are you most?
There's too many experienced pros there. Oh, sorry. I'm probably going to answer what you're about to ask. I was going to say, too many experienced pros there. Sears didn't do enough. Judge is just a recurring theme. Hughes is, turns in circles and everything. I mean, none of them make a difference in the game. They don't make a difference. They're there and they have the ball, but they don't produce anything, do they? They don't do anything with it. Even Donasians didn't have his worst game by any stretch of the imagination, but just sort of run-of-the-mill performances, isn't it?
Sorry, yeah, Sears for me is getting worse and worse with every game. He's not the player that we had, 4-5 seasons ago.
You're talking about Freddie here, Sid?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, to me, he got the assist, didn't he? But I do agree with you. And I think he's probably a victim of being that utility player for McCarthy, where they brought him in as that sort of second striker and bunged him on the wing.
He's had injuries. He's now stepping towards the end of his career. Yeah. He's another player that I would dub the transition year. I think you get a lot of changes historically at Town because you've got a lot of that sort of fodder in the squad. Your Giles Cokes, your Stephen Gleesons, the players that aren't necessarily going to step.
Jesus Christ!
Players that aren't going to step into the first team and play 46 games, but are there as your injury reserve to reserve. After this year, a lot of players are out of contract. If we're in League One still, the salary cap will hit. You'll get a lot more of Pompey's sort of selection, I think, because I don't think Pompey's got the squad we've got. Is in the numbers, not the quality, the numbers. Look at today. You've got again another 11, but those 11, as you said, are all senior, or most of the senior players that should be stepping in and playing really well. How did the young guy McGavin? Before I bring Curtis in, how did the young guy McGavin do for you today? So I was excited to see him. First half, not so great, but overall, what did you feel of young Brett McGavin today?
Done a job, but
didn't pull up any trees, did he?
Raise on the eyebrows for me personally.
No, Rob, Matt.
I thought he didn't waste the ball for me. He was confident with his passing. He looked sort of accomplished in that manner. I don't think he's going to be that sort of Downs, destroyer kind of player. I think he's going to be more of a sort of, it's probably closer to Dazell's style, if you like. He's sort of very confident, strikes the ball well, passes the ball well. It doesn't seem to waste a lot of passes. I didn't think he had a bad game. Well. Yeah, he didn't have a bad game, and I didn't think we got overrun. Do you know what? When he started to look leggy, that's when we lost control of the game. I thought really in extra time he looked really leggy, and that's when they started running through us. You saw at the start of extra time they had 2 shots. I think one at the post, one was straight down Cornell's throat, right in the place where McGavin had been for the last 90 minutes. He was just intercepting. It was sort of accomplished 90 minutes, but then he struggled in extra time, I thought.
Yeah, to be expected, I suppose. There was quite earlier, I think it was Lofty Dondrive said he reminded him of Owen Garvin, which I thought was a very good comparison, actually.
Not quick, but his mind works quicker than his.
He's reading the game, isn't he? He's quite a big lad, isn't he? Looks like he could be a little. He's got a little.
He can actually put a corner in the box as well.
Yeah, he could.
He could actually deliver a ball in. So fair play to him. I get
Rob's point.
Martin. He should go on loan, to be honest.
Well, this is it. I get Rob's point and that point there. But Will Frost, man of the match for him. Waters, JJK, man of the match. If we were looking at this from a purely, say, FIFA point of view, right? And obviously, football in real life is not like FIFA, but as in an attribute level of ranking. For me, today, Brett McGavin went ahead of Emir Hughes in the pecking order because he did a lot more than Emir Hughes. He offered more.
Hughes ain't got a great rating on FIFA.
Well, I don't play FIFA, but the point I'm trying to make is if everything was equal, all things equal, next week, and you needed a midfield player to replace Andre, and you had Emir or Brett available, would it be Emir Hughes you went with after today's game, or would it be more Brett McGavin? For me, it's Brett McGavin every day of the week over Emir Hughes at the moment.
Yeah,
No,
I get that. I do get that. I get that. I mean, Hughes actually should have scored. He had a good chance with that header, didn't he? He probably should have hit the target at the very least. I don't know. It's still probably early days for McGavin, I think. Like I said, he probably would have suited going out on loan, really. But if he can, I mean, it's whoever can influence the game the best. I thought Nolan did all right. The game turned when he scored that goal, got himself around a little bit, trying to stick the foot in a little bit, not get a red card. So I thought he did okay, Nolan. You know, he's great, Martin.
I think Ashley Bowles makes a great point. Remember, McGavin was playing against League One regulars. You know, he didn't.
I would say, if Downs was fit, I would send McGavin out on loan. I agree, but I think while he's not, we're probably going to need him. You know, like I said before, normally you'd expect probably in his position, which I say is CDM, he's probably behind Dazelle, he's probably behind Downs, he's probably still behind Scouse, and you know he's like fourth choice in that position. But two ahead of him aren't available because of injuries, and one's suspended. Yeah. So.
Does he stay in that position for next week if he played Charlton?
Potentially, but I would have him on the bench because he looks like he can bring a game to control a game a bit more. You know, keep the possession for a bit. Whereas I always doubt Emir Hughes' ability to keep hold of the ball in times where we need to. He looks more like he could be accomplished if we're perhaps 1-0 up and need to see it out just to simple passes and whatnot.
Which isn't a player he was brought in for.
And if Bishop plays, maybe he'll be looking to make that pass to Bishop so we can try and push forward.
Through the Lions,
I disagree. I think at the end of the season when Emir's contract's up, which I think it is, I wouldn't be looking to renew it on any. He's got
to do a lot to earn.
Oh God, yeah.
All right, Sid, we appreciate you, buddy. We love you, and we'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Enjoy your beer. Enjoy your beer. Curtis, welcome in, guys and girls at home. This is the man that creates quality prints. The print behind young Matthew there. Obviously, the raffle is still ongoing. Curtis, before we get into your town point, what is the raffle and what can they do and how they do it?
25 spaces. You can have as many entries as you want until it goes to 25. That is it. It's £3 per entry, and you get 4 prints, all Ipswich Town related. And as soon as it reaches 25, I'll get them done, sent out to you, personalised, done.
Boom.
Not a problem.
Okay. That's a lovely Suffolk accent you got there, Curtis.
Yeah, born and raised in Blackpool, unfortunately.
You're nearly Suffolk standing, isn't he, mate?
Obviously, Emir Hughes, what was the topic when you come into the chat there, Kurt? Have you got something? What was your thoughts on today's game overall, first and foremost?
I think first of all, I think with Emir Hughes, we talk about the header that he had a chance of. There's always something about Emir Hughes. He will have a chance in a game where he will gain himself a bit of space. And there's that one moment where you just want him to unleash a thunderbolt, a bit like a Dobra thunderbolt. And he'll just daisy cut it straight to the keeper. He will have one chance every game where he just cuts it along the grass to the keeper. And then he's down on his knees, like wondering why that's happened. It's almost a given every game they play. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't have him. I wouldn't even have him on bench. He's to me, he's a bit like a judge. What does he offer us? He takes up a space.
It's funny how we're talking.
Takes up some wages.
Well, he's probably one of the highest paid players. Isn't it funny how we're talking about Judge and Hughes not really contributing much to the team, yet they're international players? It's crazy, isn't it?
Who for?
Yeah. Well, Hughes did 11 caps, I think, for Wales. I don't know how many Judge he's got for Ireland.
Yeah. I think me. I mean, I'm not too angry about the result. To be fair, it happens. I wasn't expecting us to win today. Never mind going a cup run. It's not what we do. I'm very much in the case of focus on the league, do what we need to get out of this, because to be honest, I'm getting more bored of the refereeing decisions every week now.
Talk me through those, Curtis. What was your perspective on those referee decisions or lack of?
What I don't understand is there can be some instances where it's a flat out foul if you give it, and then your job as a paid ref, you have your badges and everything, is to spot the chances that might go amiss to us lot as normal folk, and there's no consistency at all with any game. I mean, it's. To me, the offside it's one of them. I do personally think it's a tough call, that because of the mass jumble in the area at that minute. I do think it was a tough call to give. But again, I'm not the one being paid to to make the big decisions. So
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Curtis. That consistency is the very reason VAR was brought in the first place. Because within the top flight leagues across the world and international football, managers want the correct decision. They don't want the debate afterwards. They want the correct decision. Be it you're a toenail offside. They want the correct decisions because their job is riding on it all the time. Unfortunately, it's not fed down into our tier at the moment.
I mean, the one thing I don't understand, I don't understand the whole crowd and the ref and the linesman after it. I mean, all it does is it's going to get you a booking. I don't understand. I mean, Norwood did it. I mean, what I'll say about Norwood is that I think I'm very much in the minority of. I think when fully fit, I think he does offer us a very good striker.
Yes.
When he's fully fit, I mean that's another question.
It was a good goal today. It was a good finish. You wouldn't have seen Hawkins make that finish, I don't think.
Last season, I think he would have missed that. I think. Well, to be fair, I say he missed it. We saw plenty of that last season where he went through on goal and missed them. Whereas today, I think he took it nice and calmly. I think it was a really nice finish for him. You could see in the end. I mean, I don't know whether he's flared up an injury. You could see in the end he was limping a bit, but I think that was more so. Yeah, I think that was more so with how long he's been out and his injury. His injury might have flared up a little bit, but I can't imagine reading too much into that. I'm
surprised to see him included to begin with. When I saw his name on the bench,
I did think when I noticed at 90 minutes and I see him there and he's getting his like hamstring rubbed and I'm thinking like now would have been a perfect time to get Jackson on. Just give a bit of legs, go two up front, and then Judge got brought on.
That was Lambert's mistake. That was Lambert's only mistake, I thought, during the game.
Yeah. Well,
get someone on, spread the game, give us an outlet, knock it over the top, let him run onto it, because we weren't relieving the pressure. It was just coming back and back and back.
Yeah.
Waste of a substitution, Judge, I'm afraid.
I think he's a waste.
Evergreen comment, that, Rob.
Yeah, never dates.
Honestly, it's turning into that, because every single show so far in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, has turned into a... What does Alan Judge bring, Matt? What does Alan Judge do? Yeah. He's hampering progression of McGavin and co. How does Lambert keep affording opportunities for Alan Judge until eventually enough's enough? Like, what point do you say enough?
I don't know. I mean, you could ask that. You could point that question at Toto. Do you know what I mean?
But then again, he has been pulled out the team more times than probably anybody else.
True. Well, I would imagine it's because Judge is probably one of the highest paid players.
Right. And Hughes the same, I suspect.
And Hughes.
Surely.
Hence the reason they get it. But with this argument, though, if everyone say, well, we're out of the cup now, right? We can concentrate on the league. Does anyone actually think Lambert is going to get us out of this league? Because I don't.
I do.
You saw that last season.
I'd be happy to scrape playoffs. I don't believe that he has. I don't believe he has the skill set to actually get us into automatics. I do, however, believe that he might have the skill set to scrape us into the playoffs. A bit like when we got playoffs in the Championship, Blackburn last game of the season. I think he has. I think he has the skill set to possibly do that. I think it's difficult because I think it's hard to judge after today, mainly because. It wasn't a full strength side, although I think as the point's been made, I think a lot of that team should be able to step in for our regulars. But then I worry if you get a new manager in, like how long is the bedding process? Like will they gel straight away? It's unlikely. And then again, I think what I've always said is I don't think it matters what manager we have. I mean. We go back years. I thought Roy Keane would be the one. I thought he'd be the one. I mean, I'm not sure where the thought process came into Jewel, but we'll let that one slide.
That was a bizarre one. I agree. Yeah.
But I mean, we had when McCarthy came in. I mean, me and my father absolutely buzzing. I mean, style of football not great, but he had everything on record that you needed to be a bit motivated. Couldn't do anything. I think we aren't going to get anything out of this team, I think, until a change of owner, and that's not going to come anytime soon.
Well, it's funny you say that because obviously with McCarthy, you say he comes with a CV. He had us this close.
Yeah.
In January, and obviously went to play Brighton, Rob, which you went to, and the wheels well and truly came off from that point. Is Curtis, is he onto something here? With doesn't matter who's the manager, or do you think actually the sum of his parts?
I think it's a bit more difficult now in League One with this whole salary cap. I think it's silly, the whole salary cap anyway. I think it makes it more difficult now. But what that does do is it kind of takes some of the blame from Evans, because now he's got a reason not to invest, because he'll go, well, if you look at the team, we've got Judge, who's probably a high earner. We've got Hughes, who's a high earner. You've got these players who, quite frankly, I mean, he will argue that he spent money on wages, so he shouldn't need to invest heavily on
you could say to that, if he spent money on wages, it's then down to the manager to get the best out of those players. Clearly, he's not. I'm not saying that another manager would, but those players who are the investment are not performing, are they? At the end of the day, I also think he could get us into the playoffs. I'm with you on that. What worries me is our record against teams in the playoffs. i.e. Portsmouth, Sunderland, Peterborough. He's going to have to completely change the way the season's gone. Last 2 seasons have gone to get us through 3 games in the playoffs. Like I said to you, Martin, the other day, to get through the playoffs, you have to win at least one of the home and away leg. You can blag the playoff final to penalties, perhaps, but you've got to win at least one of those 3 games, at least.
I think perspective is important. Obviously, you know, it's only a cup game. We've lost in the first round. We beat midweek at Sunderland in the league, disappointingly, but we probably shaded that game. You've seen the whole squad now. Do you honestly feel, hand on heart, looking at the whole squad, there's enough here? Or are we still hamstrung by a couple of contracts that were lengthy, 2-3 years, that have restricted movement, restricted flexibility in the market, and have restricted us in terms of looking forward and planning forward? Because I don't think, and I'm going to christen this the Neil and Steve debate, because Neil said it was individuals that were good but not a great team. Steve said we had a brilliant team. I think we've got a few individuals like Bennett who can be good, and Jackson who can be good. But overall, I don't think the quality's there in the right areas. I just don't. I just look at that team.
Yeah, but look at it this way. If you don't go up this season, Wolfenden and Downs that could have gone last summer will definitely go, as long as they've played some football, which obviously they're going to. Yeah. And then surely we're behind who we were. By that time, we'll probably lose Wolfenden, Downs, maybe Judge and Hughes are out of contract, good players, even though they're not performing. We'll be weaker out of it.
I think... I agree with that. I mean, as you mentioned there, I think we were lucky. I think we were lucky to keep Wolfenden. I think, to be honest, I think he slightly went under the radar a bit. I don't think, if I'm right, I don't think there was any substantial interest in him in the summer. I think it was very much just paper talk. Whereas I think with Downs, I think had he actually kept fit, I genuinely do think he would have gone before that deadline day window. I think he'd have gone. And to be honest, I'm very much in the case that. I don't think he'll go in January. I think he'll need to play a bit of football first, but he'll be off in the summer. I mean, I had to laugh at Lambert's comments the other day. I mean, came out and said we're in a much better place now than we were when he first came in. And I thought, whilst the club
he won't say differently, will he?
The club as a whole, you might say that internal matters might be fantastic, but I mean, he's saying, well, we've got this fantastic youth academy. It's all right having that youth, but if the plan is to then just play them for a couple of years, sell them on, I mean, what do we then do? I mean, I know we've got a few good players. I mean, as proven in the trophy, we had that Baggett who played really well. And yet, but again, you replace these young players with even more inexperience. We just restart the cycle over and over again.
But inexperience isn't a bad thing. I think sometimes we look at it sort of fans as a bad thing. I think sometimes it's a good thing. They haven't got the bad experiences either.
Yeah, you haven't got the fear, have you?
But we need a balance. I think but Ipswich we've never found that balance. Never ever have we found that balance of having inexperience with good players. I mean, we chuck through certain players like I mean, for me, Ben Falami, I think I don't rate him. I think he'll be off. I think Tyree Simpson, he's been chucked in way too soon. But again, that's mainly down to all the injuries. And I mean, Simpson, he might be good. He has got that turn of pace, and he'll learn. But I think Falami will be off. I think Morris, I think he'll be off when he's back after his injury, because he's been hampered with it, unfortunately. And there's nothing.
They're not near the first team either, are they? Those lads. That's the issue, isn't it?
And what worries me is that Dobra today, and not saying it would have been the game for him, because to be honest, I don't think it would have been after watching it. But he can't even get a game in a cup match like that. Bearing in mind, he'll be off to the Albanian setup next week. So
it's weird, isn't it?
I'm supposed to have rejected a bid from Brighton for about I don't know, it was about 300,000.
$300,000, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's like I mean, who's rejected that bid? Is it the club trying to protect their asset, or is it Lambert? Because I think Lambert would have snatched it. To be honest, I think he'd have done anything for a bit of money. Like there's something about Dobra which I don't quite understand. I mean, Il Mazzuni, I think he'd have been a nice player to have around. The fortunate thing is we are inundated with midfield players. We're very much inundated with a lot of young midfield players. McGavin today, I thought. I mean, I'm with everyone here. I personally think he's ahead of Hughes. I think he was neat and tidy, did what he needed to do. He looked more comfortable on the ball than Hughes did. Hughes for me, he's gone. He's gone at the end of the season. Or if he's not gone, transition him.
He should be. He's out of contract, so it's coaching team.
It's another wage. It's another higher earner. People forget that he's a championship earner as well.
Supposedly he's took on a different role within the academy anyway, and he's taken his coaching or something in the academy. So I don't know. Maybe the injuries will make him think twice and go into a different career path. But I don't know. It's today would have been nice to have some bombarding wing backs like Vincent Young. I mean, Vincent Young's problem, I think, that's a whole other subject. I think you can do a whole show on that. No one knows.
No one knows what's going on with him.
And every player that comes back, like Norwood did today, and Ward did, obviously after a couple of weeks, every single. I know the human body. Trust me on this one. The human body heals differently, Matt. But how many players are going to be injured after him, but come back before him with dodgy
injuries? Good point last week, didn't you? How come Ward has recovered from an Achilles style injury, not where he was ahead of KV? It's a weird one. I hope the boys on the EADT have asked where Dobra was today in the press. We'd like to know.
Well, this is it. We've got a lot of midfielders, as Kurt rightly says, but we haven't got a Dobra type midfielder where he's going to be playing in between the lines, turning, hurting opposition. Like today, as a football fan, it's a lot more palatable if you can come away and say, well, McGavin looked good, Donatian didn't play too badly, Dobra looked brilliant, Norwood came back with a goal. Like you can take defeat, particularly in cup games, when you've got things to cling on to, little life rescuers. But you haven't got that today. You've got McGavin who looked okay, and that's kind of it. And it's like, well,
do you not think the problem in that team or Ipswich for years, we don't have pace. Half the reason everyone worships Jackson is because he's fast. He doesn't. He, half the time doesn't even do anything with it, but because he's fast, he makes a difference. Vincent Young made a difference because he's fast. We've got no other fast players. We are slow. We actually play at the pace of Hughes, the pace of Judge, the pace of Hawkins. Yeah, that pace is slow. It's like we're moving at like lorries overtaking lorries speed. Come on, getting outside lane. Where's the pace? Dobra would have made a difference today. Running at the heart of people, winning free kicks, perhaps even win a penalty instead of we giving away one. It would have made a difference. I think we haven't got any pace.
Edwards is probably someone who you'd argue has the pace, but I think the problem is with Edwards.
The exception of Edwards, sorry.
Yeah, well, the thing is with Edwards, he has the pace, but as you notice sometimes when he goes down that wing, he sometimes gets the ball trapped with his own legs, and then he has to kind of cut back, slow down.
Brain and legs aren't quite.
We've all been there. Come on, we've all been there.
You certainly have.
On a Sunday morning hungover, I've definitely been there.
Yeah, you certainly have. You really have. I've managed you, sadly. Johnny Duncan, he ain't fast. Edwards is quicker than Jackson. But I get Rob's point, Kurt, about pace being needed in the team, and Dobra brings that pace. I'm going to have to let you go because I'm going to round it up very soon. I know we're later. Mark can smell my dinner. It smells great. It really does.
Today or dumplings, mate? Or?
No, it was a fry-up, actually. Sausages are in the oven as we speak. Yeah, sausages, black pudding, tomato, mushroom, bit of fried bread. Doing it right.
The question is, Martin, have you got mushroom?
I've got a lot of room. Right, Kurt, we love you, and hopefully we'll speak to you tomorrow. Keep it going, mate. You're doing a fantastic job. Matt, Rob, as we round up, we've got Crawley Tuesday. I think it's Stephen Neal joining me, on the Matchday ticket. Do you want to see a different 11? Any changes? Maybe Dobra? What do you want to see? I'll come to Rob first.
I want to see Dobra in, man. Come on. I mean, if you can't play him today, then there's even less excuses not to play him against Crawley in that trophy. I mean, come on. If he's in the third team, then he has to be in the team for that. Should be captain of that
Particularly
third
against
team.
Crawley, right? Because Crawley was a team they tried to take him on loan. Their manager obviously got a point to prove. Like, you want to try and stand out to your own manager.
I think personally, I can understand that. I think the Crawley manager is perhaps not the guy everyone wants to work for. I personally think if I was him and I was frustrated, if he'd known he hadn't played in games like today, I think he would have gone. I really do. I think he would have gone on loan. I think he was expecting to get chances in games like today, but now we're out of the Carabao Cup. That's one chance for him. We're out of the FA Cup. That's another chance for him. We'll be out of the EFL Trophy given a one knockout game. All of a sudden, the games are short for him, aren't they? I think if he chance came again after today, he'd go out and loan. And I wouldn't blame him because if he's not even on the bench today, I mean, where is he?
Few comments before I come to you, Matt. Adam Flat, Andre and Bish both believe if we don't go up, we're in no position to negotiate with the salary cap. Leighton Durrant, Edwards is fast. Johnny Duncan, great guy, Johnny. He ain't fast. Edwards quicker than Jackson. Sore feet for the beat. Keep donating, guys. It's not pace when tactics are bad, passing and sideways football. Loft on drive. Humble pie. You have to tweet me that, Loft, because why am I eating humble pie? What have I said now? Cruncher, hot on a plate. Many things. Exactly. That's why I need to know clarification. I say a lot, and a lot of it gets me in trouble. Adam Flat, Gutbuster. I'm called Big M for a reason. And Leighton Durran, love this show. Well done, fellas. Leighton, we love you. Anytime you want to come on, just ask for the link, and you can come on yourself and have your say. So, Matt, Crawley, and he said Charlton. Crawley, what's happening?
When we played, what was it, Gillingham, wasn't it, in the last match day for the EFL Trophy? There was a lot of negativity going into that game, and Lambert was like, we're playing too many games. That actually turned out to be quite a positive 90 minutes, didn't it? Because we saw these youngsters come through. There was the Dobra goal, it was a great finish. We saw Baggett make his debut. The other lad come into midfield, didn't he, Gibbs? So I'd like to see those lads get an opportunity again, Price Beck in goal maybe, just so we know that there's a wave of these kids coming through. But whether or not we win the game or not, I don't know. It depends what kind of team Crawley would put out, I suppose. But I mean, I agree with Rob. Dobra's chances are now very limited, aren't they? In the fact that we're only got league and EFL Trophy games now. So I'd like to know where he was today. I could only presume he's injured, but if he's not, then there's obviously something else going on.
Do you know what? If he's not, if he wasn't, and the crowd was in today, it would have been. I think it would have changed the atmosphere, because I think most Ipswich fans would like to see him. He's probably the most exciting young player we have at the club, right? I think most people would probably agree with that. Obviously, you've had a big money bid relatively from a Premier League club. Yeah, he can't even get in our team.
Presumably, he hasn't gone away with Albania already. I don't know if that's because he's going with the 21s, isn't he? I don't know if he's away. It wasn't available for today. I don't know. It's not. I've not seen it on any timelines or anything. I'd like to know. We'll find out tomorrow.
So is he not about on Tuesday then, or because of the Albania?
I'm afraid I do not know.
There'll be a research. Yeah.
Cruncher says Dobra's not injured. Andy Gray got a message from Dobra saying he wasn't injured.
Direct line of contact. Get him on the line. Get him on the show. Get Dobra on the show. He's not busy on Saturday afternoon, Dobra, is he? Let's be honest.
No, he certainly isn't. Mike Davey, would you keep Cornell for Crawley? I would. He started poorly. That first goal was a poor goal to concede. Yeah. But then the Northampton podcast did warn us, Matt. Say to us he wouldn't pull up trees. But I'm still more confident with in the second half. He did a lovely turn on their centre forward. He sold.
Yeah, when the guy tried to jump in front of him, he just said, "See you later," wouldn't he? No, he definitely grew into it.
I'd like to see Price Beck given an opportunity. I think he was a good keeper. He played the EFL Trophy last season, didn't he? He was in that penalty shootout at Peterborough. I think he's a good keeper. But you do probably want your second keeper, Cornell, to get some game time, I suppose. Yeah. But Rob's made a good point about Dobra. We'll have to see when the Albanian fixtures are. Maybe he won't be able to play. I don't know. We should be a bit of a blind then, won't it?
Martin, come on, Martin. Are you telling me honestly, openly, admit it if so, that you're not an expert on Albanian youth football? I mean, that's the controversial clickbait of the show.
He's done the football manager in Albania, I'm sure.
Their next fixture is the 13th against Kosovo, and then 17th against England. So
it's Friday. That's Friday.
So he will be probably travelling to meet up with them at some point over the next 24 hours, I'd argue. So probably Crawley is not available. But then
that's bad for him. That's his chance. That game is his chance. Last time in this tournament, that was his chance. He took it, you have to say.
But equally, is there? I mean, Matt would know a lot more than this because he's insider with the FA. But if Lambert wanted to play Dobra and Dobra wanted to play, could he not delay linking up with the squad to play a competitive fixture?
I don't know, actually. I don't know how it works for the youth development, because they're still classed as development teams. I don't know, to be honest. I think there'd probably be issues, I would have thought, with these country if they didn't make him available.
Getting kicked by Crawley is more development than getting
you never know. Albania will send the boys round, mate. Albania will send the boys round, and Lambert and Co will be in trouble, won't they? So they'll have 50 Albanians at their door at 2 o'clock in the morning with a horse's head.
Yeah, on the 17th of November, he plays against England under 21s. So that'd be a good test, because stand out there, then the calls will grow for.
Yeah, it's a shame, though, because he made such a good impression in that game against Gillingham with the great goal, and that got everyone kind of on side with him, didn't it? Oh, we want to see him in the first team. Why is he not around on the bench or whatever? So you
need trust, and you need to be played. And Teddy Bishop came in from the youth team, was given trust, played well, kept playing well. Obviously got injured as well, but McCarthy, who many people slammed for not giving youth players a chance, did give a number of younger players that opportunity. Obviously, Andre debut at Birmingham at home. Yes. I think it's time now we start, if not starting them on the bench, certainly to come off the bench and have an impact.
He can win some games off the bench. We were saying earlier about that sort of youth player factor, like the old Dean Bowditch factor. Whoever it was, Royal was getting slated for not starting him, not playing him more at the time, wasn't it? It always sticks in my mind. But it's the same thing. People want to see Bennett because he's an exciting player with pace who might be able to change the game. I think Dobra's another one like that.
Yeah.
I agree. Completely agree. Right. That's us for today. Don't worry, my friends. King Lambo will guide us through, and promotion is on the horizon.
That is what's worrying me. Right, that there.
Yeah. That's what we're worried about.
Look, well, we bring all sides to the argument. I'm a Lambert. You're not a Lambert. We're all Dobra, though. We're all 100%
we're all
in the Dobra camp.
I'm just getting the next plane to Albania to see how he's getting on, mate. got off of Stansted now.
Don't do that, because you know who will join you. Neil will join you without a doubt. You won't even know who we're going to play, but he'll go there anyway just for a lads weekend away. So he's with me on Tuesday with Steve, back 6:30. Thank you for joining us today. As I've said earlier, if you've not yet subscribed, hit subscribe and share all these links on your timeline so people can find us and join the conversation. But thank you for your... I'll just put one more in, just because, I'm fair. Lambert is clueless. I'm hurting. 1 win in 19. The FA Cup. Is that a record? Got to be.
Okay. And the Crunch is back tomorrow. Tomorrow lunchtime, Ian. The Crunch is back with us.
Of course. Yes, Talking Town 1:30 live. To be fair, though, to that question, that comment there by Andy Grant, I'm hurting with him. It's never nice to see your team lose. But 19 FA Cup games, Lambert wasn't here for all 19. So that's consecutive managers that had not taken it seriously. Is this now, I'll close with this, one last question. Is this now a culture thing at the club?
I think the FA Cup is just treated like the Carabao Cup and like the EFL Trophy at the same level.
But as a club, when we sit down at the start of the year and we map out our expectations for our own job, obviously from the top downwards, is the FA Cup seen as the Carabao Cup, as the Papa John's Trophy?
It's seen as added. I would say it's seen as added revenue. It's seen as added revenue. But
then why aren't you trying to play?
Well,
you need to get to the third round to have any revenue, I think.
Yeah. That's another question to ask, isn't it? So got something off the TV today.
I'll come back to you, Matt, tomorrow, because you can have 24 hours to think about it. But Rob, I want you to answer it. Do you think it's a culture thing at the football club that we're no longer interested in winning FA Cup games, first round, third round, even a semi, whatever it may be?
I have to say, I don't think we're fussed by it. I think that's why I said when I said we treat it in the same way as the other two cups, I don't think we're fussed by them. So I'm all for playing like the youth teams and that. If you're really seriously like having a fixture congestion and you're really down to the bare bones, then of course do what you've got to do. But that's 19 games probably in a row we've not gone with our full strength team, I would imagine, in the FA Cup. It's just disrespecting the FA Cup for me. There's no interest in it, and I think it's probably not set out as an objective to the managers when they come, and that's why you've seen it across the board. Okay, perfect. It's a great way to finish. With love, with care from me, from Matt to Rob.
to you at home.
Cheers,
See you tomorrow,
everyone.
1:30 for the Talking Town Ipswich Town podcast. See you tomorrow.
Cheers, guys.